Today, I'm disturbed, mostly by Chris Brown. Well, aside from him putting himself on a picture of Jesus Christ on the cross, he's gotten into another fight, as you may have already heard. Here's what happened, and then I'm going to give you guys my opinion and a little bit of analysis. So, Chris Brown was at a recording studio in Westlake, California, just outside of Hollywood, and he was coming out of the studio, and Frank Ocean was walking in, both with their crews, who I assume is basically like their makeup artist? No. Their manager? Maybe something like that. Their assistant, their driver, I don't even know. I mean, their entourage, I guess. So Frank's walking in, Chris is coming out, and apparently they see each other, and Frank says something like, "Hey man, you're in my parking spot in my studio." I don't know why Frank would say that. He doesn't really seem like a very aggressive person based on his music. It's like super mellow and R&B, so I don't really know that he said that. But then apparently Frank was going to go hit Chris or one of his guys, and then Chris's crew jumped in, and then they started brawling, and of course mayhem ensued from there. But both guys say that the other one started it. Of course they're saying that. Why would they not? They don't want to get in trouble. So when the police arrived, this was Sunday night around 10:30, police arrived. Chris had left. Okay, why would you leave? Obviously that makes you look guilty. Frank stayed, he talked to the police, he even tweeted about the fight at like 10:45 p.m. And he also said that now he can only play with one hand at the Grammys. He's performing at the Grammys February 10th. So that kind of sucks. I mean, at least he's still gonna perform, which is great, but now he only has one hand. And today, a few days later, we actually saw Chris leaving his house with a cast on his hand. So that looks pretty suspicious, Chris. If you're saying that you didn't have any part in it, why would you put a cast on your hand? I guess you want to play the victim. So Chris hasn't spoken to police yet, but police want to talk to him because Frank wants to press charges. Of course Frank does, because his hand is hurt. So TMZ is saying that Frank started it. Frank is saying that Chris started it. So why is TMZ saying that Frank started it? I think because Chris's publicity team, PR team, is telling them to. Who would ever believe that Frank would start it over Chris Brown? Frank has no history. Chris, lots of history in fighting. The big epic fight with Drake in June, remember that? Oh, what about beating up Rihanna and dozens of other fights and a terrible public image? Why would you believe that Chris started it? Come on. How do people even still like him? I'm like pissed off and disturbed that people still buy his music and he's still a relevant pop artist. Why isn't he done and over? I'm so over him. I can't stand to listen to his music. I change the radio station every time he comes on. I'm not even kidding. So no charges have been filed yet, but like I said, Frank wants to press charges. So whose side am I on? I'm totally on Frank Ocean's side. Frank is older, he's 25, Chris is 23, and Frank is using those 2 years and he's being a little bit more mature and smarter in his life than Chris. Also, Frank is bisexual, and Chris and him have a history. Chris has previously said some comments about Frank coming out as a bisexual, so maybe Frank got pissed off and did start something. Maybe Chris used a homophobic slur when they saw each other at the recording studio. Are you guys disturbed by this? What do you think? Tell me if you're disturbed too. Oh, you should totally subscribe to my channel. Bye.